need to change our theme song.
I can sing one. Come and join us, ladies. Hear the latest gossip, news, relationship issues. Talk juicy, slay juicy.
Good evening, Juicy Dolls, and welcome to all our juicy listeners. This is episode number 49.
Wow.
Woo! Yeah. So, it's a nice day in Detroit.
Very hot, very hot.
Very thought, very thought.
Oh, very thought.
It's
I
very
like that.
thought outside.
It's a thoughtish day.
It's very thought. Thought sunny.
Thought sunny day. And so, today's topic is a little, heavy, I want to say, but I think it's a needed discussion. Today's topic is we're going to talk about basically, to sum it up in, basically child abuse, but also recognizing, abuse in your relationship, So, and I know on the news, you heard of all these different stories of women leaving their children, with their partners, and their partners are abusing their children, and the children are getting murdered by their partners. And when I even just looked on the internet, just Googling, it was countless stories, not just the recent stories of, with the recent events of different, children, even more recent here in Detroit, Metro Detroit area, a young girl was murdered by her mother's boyfriend in the motel. They was living in a motel, and she was murdered, and just countless stories of this. But again, it don't just stop or end with partners. It also can be family members. It can be the parent. And so, but how do you guys feel about that? Like, because I understand, like, even just on the case, because I remember when the national story hit. The baby who was murdered, even Cardi B tweeted, lady, stop leaving your children alone with your boyfriends. And she got a lot of heat and backlash for tweeting that, because a lot of women say basically, child care is expensive. And basically, if you have somebody there willing to watch your child for free, you kind of literally, which makes sense. You go take advantage of who's
especially
watching.
Those who don't have siblings, don't have mothers, fathers, and it's just them. Mm-hmm. So they're comfortable leaving their child. So they're comfortable leaving the child with their spouse because that's all they have.
Mm-hmm. I don't really understand how women trust anybody. I didn't think negative about my husband or anything like that, but in the back of your mind, you don't know. You are not in that person's head, and you don't know how a person thinks or what their struggles is and why men or women do these type of things to their children or other children. So if people are doing it to their own children, you really, it's hard to trust anybody. Sometimes you don't know. I used to have a friend that was just so, telling her friend, you need to stop having your daughter around this guy and this, and that. And it's just like she was doing more stuff, I don't know. You got to be a good judge of character with people, and you just got to follow your gut. And if you don't really trust that man around other people, you don't even trust him around your sister, then how you think he ain't gonna touch a teenage daughter? You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Or if he's sexually abusive to you in ways,
Yeah, and that's a good point, because mostly if someone is showing behavior towards you, if they are disrespecting you, if they're abusing you, or even the tone of language he's using towards you.
He used to everybody.
Or even the tone of language he's using, like open sexual behavior language in front of your kids. You know what I mean? Like, he's doing things like you question, like things you wouldn't do around your kids, he's doing. You know what I mean? Like, why are you saying that in front of my daughter? You know what I mean? Why are you talking about sex in front of my daughter? things of that nature. Because, most molesters, child abusers, aren't going to have a sign to say they're child abusers. They don't look like child abusers, for one, because they want to blend in. For two, they want you to feel comfortable as possible leaving your child with them. You know what I mean? So they always willing to babysit. You know what I mean? They're always available. You know what I mean? They literally always available. And they, and they don't show the signs. So you feel comfortable with them. But so much and that's what makes it tricky, because you can't so much watch the character of the abuser. You got to watch the character of your child. You once you see that behavior changing in your child, then you know, what's going on?
The stories I know, they are drug related. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if you're sitting up there and you're doing a bunch of drugs with your boyfriend and things like that, and in the home with your children there and things like that, then why wouldn't he think anything else goes? To me, y'all sitting up there shooting up, doing, all type. I know people that's doing stuff in the home with the kids. So why would this be off limits to do this after I'm done shooting up or doing stuff? So.
Yeah, but I know some people who unfortunately have this, and it wasn't drug. Sometimes
it wasn't no signs.
No signs. It's literally no signs. They literally didn't see any signs in their partner of this. Literally, no signs of anything, but notice certain sudden changes in their child's behavior. You just thinking it's part of the growing pains of a kid, or they just acting. Especially young girls, especially they go through emotional stages in life.
Boys, too.
And boys, they go through these emotional stages. So, you kind of whining on that because you're really not really thinking. Well, I always think, listen, let me tell you, I don't care if you're the daddy or not. Yeah. I'm questioning it.
Yeah.
I'm, even with my husband now, it took me a while to leave him because not saying that he would, but you
just don't know when you didn't heard so many stories.
I'm so overly protective of my kids. To this day, my daughter have not had a sleepover because I'm scared. Because that's where it happens. You know what I'm saying?
That's the only reason. Oh, you saying her going somewhere?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't want to be bothered with other people's kids.
No, I don't mind kids coming. Now, that's the thing. I don't mind kids coming to my house because I know who I am. But, her going, and she gets so upset. Why can they come over, but I can't go over there? Because I don't know them like that.
Yeah.
I don't trust them. And I'm not so much, men can be abusers, women can be abusers as well. Mm-hmm. It could be the aunties, the older sisters.
How much traffic is going in and out of this
house?
That's
another thing. Who is the mother, boyfriend, friends that may be coming over and keep going to the bathroom around where the girls is at? I don't trust it. I don't trust it. And I think you just really have to be that helicopter parent, over your kids.
I don't know the percentage, but it really does seem like a lot of people do have stories of child molestation, and
mostly everybody.
Yeah. So
okay, if you think hard enough, you've been child. That's why I say if you think hard enough,
you put two and two together.
You somehow somebody
that
did,
one cousin.
It was somebody did something to you that people take advantage of. Kids are so innocent, and unfortunately, people do take advantage of it, and that's why again you cannot really look at the person that's actually the abuser because they can fool you. So they fool you.
And it's
because
not just men touching girls. It's
girls
women
touching little boys,
little girls too,
and little girls and boys. That's what I'm saying. And women touch little boys and women touch little girls. And it's just that's why you cannot really try to watch the person, but also look at your child. The child will tell you. The child may not say it, but you can look at that child, and it has, certain signs of, abuse for children. Mostly, say a child used to wet the bed, when he was younger, but now they stopped when he was a kid, but all of a sudden, again, they start wetting the bed again. You know what I mean? A child who don't want to go around certain people anymore, or don't want to go over certain friend or family member house. I don't want to go over there.
Or too clingy child that don't want to step away from their mama and they older.
Yeah, what happened?
It's just scary and it's just sad.
It's so scary. And you're and then, or kids, some kids, when they really, they wear multiple clothes at night. Some kids wear multiple layers of clothes. go to sleep in their coats, wear pajamas, pants, jogging, they wear so many different layers of trying to protect themselves. And when you start seeing this, don't, talk to your child. And that's so sad. Growing up, I have had friends whose mothers chose their men over their daughters, and like the daughters had to leave and go live with grandma, and you know what I mean, because the mothers was like, the girl was being fast, or she wanted this old guy. She didn't want this old washed up guy. She didn't want him. He came on to her. And I have multiple stories of friends who did this, and the mothers literally chose their partners over their daughters. And the thing about it, this is an unspoken occurrence that goes on in all communities. Every community goes through this, and it's an unspoken sad occurrence. And I think that people need to really start watching their children behaviors to recognize this type of abuse, because again, abuse children grow up to be abused adults, and again to abuse children, and then to abuse adults. So it's like a cycle that never ends. It never ends. Hurt people, hurt children, hurt other children.
Just be angry.
They grow up to be hurt adults.
Yeah, and hurt children. Yeah. You could tell, like I said, even in child sexual talk, a child that's talking sexual or has a knowledge of too much. How you know about that? Why are you
talking? Kids do be so grown. I was watching a video of the little girl dancing, like she was a little island girl like that. I was hearing the island music playing, and she was like dancing really. I was jealous. Like, how that little girl know how to dance like that? And then it was posted by a guy that said, "This is why my daughter don't have no damn rhythm right now, because she ain't doing all this dumbness."
Yeah, because people can sexualize anything in kids. And that's why, honestly, I just get so weird, because even with social media, I think it's okay to post. I mean, first of all, let me make a disclaimer. I'm not a social media person. I don't post nothing about me. So I definitely don't post nothing about my kids. I just don't, because I think everybody's weird and everybody's a child.
I do too. When I had my son, I did not post any baby pictures of him, because I don't know why I felt like somebody might have wanted to take him or anything like that, but you don't know. You don't know. And it's always somebody you know.
It is. And that's why I said I always get so weirded out. I don't post pictures, because like right now it's like graduation season. I ain't post no pictures of my daughter. Like, I ain't post nothing. She, to me, she was just the cutest thing in her little junior prime dress. And I got scared. I said, oh, my God, a child molester like these pictures. I get weirded out, because you never know in society. Today's world is so creepy, because you got to worry about your intimate circle. Now you got to worry about the social media world. And that's creepy.
The internet world is,
It's more, it's dangerous.
It's more aggressive.
It's aggressive. Yeah. So now, so you got to protect your kid at all angles. Personal circle, social media. Yeah. You just got to be so protective. And but again, I know, in the work that I do, I understand not having the support system to help you with your child, and you needing that person. You have your partner there that can help you babysit, and financially, childcare is ridiculous. But there's so many different resources out here in the community that you can lean on, because a lot of times you can't lean on your family members. You can't really trust your friends. Sometimes you got to go out your circle and trust some even the professional people. I get it. I'm getting it. Even in daycares, I get it. People say they don't want their kids in daycares because they don't trust abuse. I understand it. But sometimes,
all these videos out.
But sometimes, just do your research. But you may be better off with a stranger in a professional setting, like a daycare center, than your cousin who don't do anything at home, just have, watch all the kids, but have all kind of traffic coming in and out. And people take watch of this, and they'll say, okay, I know I could go there and have these, random people sit up in the house with all these kids, because they know the kids is there. They know these adults not watching these kids. People are drinking and doing whatever. And that's how your kid get abused. You know, I'm just saying this. It'd be so many. And plus, listen, y'all, because I'm the one in the group that always had these horror stories. I don't trust nobody. You know, so I may be the wrong person, really, but you know, I just don't trust anybody because it's just so creepy when it comes to kids because I think they're so innocent. And again, like I said, you can't watch the abuser because people, they blend in so well. You don't know who they are, but you got to just really watch your children.
I used to snap on my daughters. My husband and his brothers used to be over, and they would be drinking at the table, and they'll be like, "Uncle," and they'll be, "Get up out of here while these men are drinking." You know, I used to, no, you're not sitting around no men drinking. I used to fuss at them, and they used to look at me like, "What's going on?" But did y'all see this? I didn't actually watch the video, but it's a new video online now where a lady is confronting her boyfriend about touching her daughter.
Why she posted?
I don't know. She was sitting there. I saw the video and I just read the caption. Lady confronting her boyfriend about touching her daughter.
She didn't film her. She just filmed him.
She filmed both of them, but it was like her back was to the camera and she was like smoking a cigarette. I'm like, oh, it looked drama-fied already. But I didn't watch it because I don't. If you didn't call the police before...
Nah, that don't even sound right.
You know, it was just weird.
Something like that. Well, honestly, I wouldn't call the police. Unfortunately, something like that, I handle it myself. Okay. But, you know, I'm just calling the coroner. I'm skipping the police and everything. I'm just calling, get the bag. Get the body bag, bring it to the house. But the thing about it is, you know...
Yeah,
it's
social media.
It's crazy.
She wanted some attention. She got a mental illness, first of all.
And confronting somebody, that's the same way as confronting somebody like, "Well, did you take my money?" You know, they're gonna say what they're gonna say,
and that's
you ain't gonna get an answer.
You know, that's silly. That's silly. So we had a therapist in the house, and I know this is what this is what you do basically. You talk about you have dealt with you was a therapist with children and things of that nature. So you know firsthand stories of abuse and things of that nature. So it's just, you know, how do you recognize it in your child? Because my thing is not so much looking at the adult because the adult can blend in so well.
Right.
So, and I was just saying like how, you know, a child who, you know, basically signs of wetting the bed, who you knew grew out of that as a toddler, now all of a sudden they 12 years old, 13 years old, wetting the bed again. You know, or just was so active in school and want to do everything. Now they just a shell. Like, girl, what's wrong with you? Why you don't want to do nothing no more? Or, son, why you don't want to play on the basketball team no more? You know, and not worrying that the damn coach been, you know what I'm saying? Just things of that nature that's when you see a switch turn off in them. Like, so, like, what do you suggest for parents when they see something like that? How should they question it? That's the key, because people don't even know how to approach their own kids.
That's true.
Because kids could get turned off by the conversation, don't even feel comfortable speaking to you.
A lot of times, it's unfortunate, but from a lot of things I have heard in dealing with kids, that a lot of times the parents are already aware of it. Mm-hmm. And the parents just don't act on it because it's like either, especially if it's a family member or if it's their own boyfriend. So a lot of times the information is just kind of, they know what's happening, but they ignore it. Because it's like, okay, well, you know, this is what she said, but she lies all the time, or this is what he said, he lies all the time. And so the child has no one to turn to. So they don't, if a kid do not trust you to hold their information or to help them to get over something, they're not going to tell you the information. The main thing is what we forget is to learn how to have conversation. We forget how to communicate. Kids do a lot more talking when you have them doing something that's interesting for them. You can watch how they play. You can watch how they draw. And it's not all kids don't go into a shell. The older ones do. But younger kids would just kind of still do what they do. But they would cry if you try to take them over someone else's house that they know of or things like that, or they know what's going to happen over there. And some kids become immune to it because no one is doing anything. So they begin to touch and molest other kids. And so you would get reports that, well, this child was touching on this child at school, and now that child is kicked out of school. 9 times out of 10, that child has learned that behavior because someone else has been putting their hands on them. You know, kids naturally, or anybody naturally begin to have feelings and you begin to feel on yourself and touch your body, that's a natural response from anyone, especially from kids. But when they begin to start kissing on another individual or they begin to try to grope on them, that's because it's been seen and it has been either done.
Right.
So you have to pay attention to all the clues and the signs. And the way you have the conversation is you talk about what's good touching and what's bad touching, especially when you're talking about younger kids. You have to explain to them what is a good touch and what is a bad touch. What is places that people don't supposed to touch? And you just ask them, have anyone touch you in your personal spot? But let them know if that's the case, a lot of things, what we do, especially as mothers, we try to give cute little words to private parts. And
Peanuts, pocketbook.
right. And these kids go around saying these things, and what happens is something, if they have been molested, it doesn't hold up in court to say, well, he touched my pocketbook.
Yeah,
You have to be
she touched
able
my
to
peanut.
verbally,
Like, what's
right.
Your peanuts? Your peanuts?
You have to be able to verbally say the actual word, vagina and penis. They have to be able to know what these things are. So make sure that you're telling your kids the right information of what they're talking about. And they will, and little girls a lot of times will let you know that my vagina hurts. It hurts down there because it's going to be painful for them. And if you notice any spotting in her underwear and she's throwing them away and things like that, then you need to be a little bit more cautious and pay attention. You need to start questioning them and then also checking their surroundings and where they at. Sometimes the molester is pretty much somebody who's going to be right in your home. Somebody who's going to be around the family. Somebody's going to be in your face. Somebody that's in there that's close-knit with the family. It's never really a stranger because a stranger is just going to take your child and they're going to kidnap them. But when it's molestation, it's always someone who's close to the family. So you have to pay attention. It could be a man. It could be a woman. A lot of times we're looking for the male and we're not looking at the female. Females are just as the same as male are. Especially you got your female babysitters who like to watch these young boys. The first thing they want to do is, okay, show me your penis. Let me see it. Can I touch it? And they begin to explore. But with guys, they're looking at it like, oh, she want me. She's older than me. And they can be 8 or 9 years old, but their first sexual experience have come from a grown woman.
Yeah, a lot. I have several
Yeah.
men that have told me that
Yes.
I was touched at 9, like you said. I have a question. You know how the little kids that be, everybody know the little kids, it might be your own kids, they be like humping. Other, does that necessarily mean that they saw that? Or is it like a natural reaction like a dog?
No, it's not a natural reaction. A lot of times it's what they see.
Because it's just like, I keep hearing stories from my friends' little kids, and it be like, I don't know why she was on him humping them. And I'm like,
Kids repeat whatever that's done, whatever that they see, because you got to think of it like they're like sponges. So they pick up everything.
do that mean that they saw it on TV? I mean,
They could have seen it on television. They could have seen their parent. They could have seen anybody do it. Anybody
Or
who's
experienced
watching
it.
or experienced it. Sometimes you're out,
Crazy.
your niece or somebody's watching your kids, and then their man come over there and they're dry humping.
Yeah.
And so the kids see this and think, oh, okay, so this is what you're supposed to do. And so they find a little boy and they dry hump.
I have so many stories where I hear this, and it's almost seeming like everybody has a story where, and it's never like always the little boy. It seems like it's the little girl humping the little boy, where you would think like, oh, watch the boy, watch the boy. No, it's the little girl humping the little boys.
Yes.
So,
Yes, it's a very serious issue, and then you find a lot. I remember growing up, they used to say, "Oh, they kissing cousins," but no one ever really truly explained what that was until I realized, like, wait a minute, you mean that kissing cousins is a cousin who's actually kissing each other and humping on each other
Because they seen it.
because they seen it or they watch it. I remember my uncle, I'm putting his business out there. He had a videotape, but a porn tape. And it was so funny because my cousin, who was a male, he used to always say, hey, y'all want to watch that Leonard Bingham tape? But we thought that was the name of the porn thing because we were so young and stupid, didn't realize that was actually his daddy's name. And it was he just wrote his name on the videotape. So we thought it was the Leonard Bingham porn tape. And so he would put it on, and we sitting there like, oh, my God, this is gross. Why are we sitting here watching this? But we're family.
Right.
So it's like, okay, what is this about? But when your mind begins to see something, of
Yeah.
course, eventually you're going to want to interpret it.
Right.
How old was y'all?
I can't even remember how old we was. I just remember him always saying this Leonard
There's
Bingham tape.
always somebody bringing some old ass. That's why it was when we was at. They was like, "You want to see something?" We was like, "Sure." We was like, "What the hell?" You know, the '90s porn was awful.
I don't even think this was 90s porn.
Ooh.
Nada, did you
70s?
forget I was born in the 70s, honey?
Listen.
So, I mean, this was, this porn was like the 80s.
Even worse.
Jerry Carroll just everywhere.
Girl.
The music is awful.
The music
too.
is, the whole acting is awful.
Hey,
It
you
was just-
sucker!
Right.
Come over here.
Girl, you know you want this. You know, it was anything. You know, it was just stupid.
Okay. Back on topic, girl.
So yeah, so you just have to learn to watch the signs and see what's going on. And then and another thing we don't do, we don't pay attention to what our kids watch. We let them watch anything. And Cartoon Network is not Cartoon Network.
Love Cartoon Network.
At some parts of the time, at the end of the night, it changes
Adult
over.
Swim.
Adult
And
Swim.
it's a lot that happens on that little show.
Man.
So you have to pay attention to what your kids
No,
are
it's
viewing.
YouTube. Let me tell you
Oh,
something.
YouTube is
awful.
So it's like YouTube. My son is the kid who runs with his arms back, like the anime kids. So he's clicking, and you know he see a video with like Mario stuffed dolls. So it's like it's adults talking for the voices.
See, that's where you get to start watching. Hear
So
adults.
then it like move that shit out of here. You're like, what? Turn from that. So it's like, how many times do I have to keep saying turn from that?
You have to put blocks on things.
On the
thing
language,
is, if you
yeah.
don't put blocks on what your kids are viewing, then you just giving them the reins to go and
Yeah.
look for what they want.
You have to. I even put a block on my own TV. So when y'all thought y'all was slick coming in my room,
right.
you still got to put a code in.
still have to put a code in.
Because they
You have
still
to
get
block
into
it.
stuff.
Exactly.
You have to. My sister tried to show me how to like block the Wi-Fi to where you can. She did all of that with her kids. I need to do that.
What is it? Block
Where you
Wi-Fi?
can put a parental block on the Wi-Fi to where
I just put parental block on her phone.
you can block
Yeah.
anything where you can't
she
even
can't- she
surf
can't-
the
You
web.
can't even you
Well,
only
she
can
can
search
surf the
certain
web.
things on the web.
She used to surf the web, but like on my daughter's phone, I have a timer. It cuts off at a certain time at night, and also language blocker. So
Yeah.
she can't search certain
Now, how she
things.
don't know how to get into all of that.
Oh, I see everything. I see her text messages. I can see her how long she been on different websites. I can see everything on her phone. And again, she's like, she's young, so it's not like she's 18 and nothing like that. So she's at a principal. Oh, what? Oh my God, impressible.
Impressible.
Good God.
I'm like, where are you going with that?
Impressionable.
As soon as I heard her say that, I just started daydreaming.
She's still saying principal. Go ahead.
She's at the age.
She's at that.
All right. She's at the age. She is at the age where kids can start getting to a lot of stuff. They can go left or right
Yeah.
real quick.
And it is. It's funny because my teenage daughter loves to show me everything she sees on Instagram. And you know how at the beginning of a video, when they share a video, it shows like whoever shared that video's like camera roll where you kind of see where it pops up on the Apple phones or something. And I saw like a clip of the video in it. It's hard to explain, but I seen the little cucumber thing. I know y'all seen that video where the girl is sitting in the car and she's shoving the biggest cucumber she can find down her throat or whatever.
No.
I don't know, but it made me gag when I saw that and made
Your
me want to go
daughter's-
to practice. No.
daughter's had
No.
that?
No, it's
Dang.
like, you know how a video will get ready to play, but before it plays, it like shows a clip of like your camera roll kind of. Like it just pops up kind of. But it's not it's the camera roll of whoever uploaded the video to Instagram or whatever. And I thought it was hers.
I'm
And-
lost. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I could.
You know what y'all you know what she's talking about?
No.
What?
Like, wait a minute. I know I'm not in social media like that, but damn, I ain't never
if,
seen this
If my
before.
daughter showed me a video, she probably, she looks at it before she gives it to me. So
Okay,
she
now
could
you
be
see how this
blocking it.
is.
Yeah.
Now when you get ready to play it, it's gonna show. See how it shows pops
That's
up the camera roll?
iPhone.
Yeah, sometimes
Oh,
it
that's
does
just how
that when you
whoever, I
uploaded
have-
it off
yeah,
on the
uploaded it that way.
Instagram. Like it had all their videos.
Oh,
She
okay,
was funny.
I never saw that before.
But yeah,
on
they do that
Instagram.
sometimes. So when I saw that, I remember seeing this video with the cucumber, and then I saw like a glimpse, like, is this your camera roll? She like, no, mommy.
Oh.
So I flipped out on her because I'm like, oh.
I thought that was her camera
yeah.
roll. That's what this was
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Good God.
You do. I mean, it's so much available on social media. You will be.
Look at y'all. Y'all about to look for that cucumber video. Get your
Right.
life together.
I saw several of them. I don't know. I think it's to a song, actually.
It's to a song?
Yeah, it's like a song. or
Oh, really?
some weird
She was jamming that mug really deep.
I know she got a lot of views.
I thought I was pretty good. Remember, we've talked about oral a lot.
You said you are.
She knocked it out
there.
the box. That was one of the big cucumbers.
She's an expert. On
And she was putting it deep, pretty deep.
Wow.
I mean, she made me want to gag watching it, but it was like, you need more work. But anyway,
Back on time.
Back on topic, y'all. You know, we trying, y'all. I somebody make a disclaimer. We are really trying to be serious. But this is Talk Juicy. We can't veer off real quick and just take that
Right.
one word. It's just one word.
We all have
Cucumber.
ADHD. We don't stay on topic.
Cucumber, and that's it.
And
We
we're
done.
talking about molestation, and now we all wondering about this
Gag,
cucumber
gag.
thing.
I'm going to Kroger when I
It
leave.
don't even make sense. It just, this whole conversation just, it just went left.
We need to just.
Oh,
stick to
Lord.
juicy topic.
We can be serious. We're professional.
So, back to
Awful.
All right, commercial break is over. We're back. Thank you all for joining us again.
Awful. Golly, y'all, this is, you know what, y'all, I
Y'all
said
know
today
my
was a,
you know my contribution. I don't understand why you act surprised. Okay?
I said we are talking heavy today.
You know,
Oh, it was going to be a heavy.
You know what I bring to
didn't
the
come
table.
expecting heavy conversation.
I guess not, well, damn it.
I mean, it's fine. We talked about molestation. We put it out there.
Now it's over.
Now back to the cucumber.
Now I'm back to the
Hold on, but,
cucumbers.
honestly, parents, please watch what your kids are watching. It's just that simple. Take the phone away from them. I mean,
Take the
they
phone
should
away
have a
and-
certain amount of screen time. It should not be that's what's babysitting them.
Provide
And that's
guidelines.
what's keeping them, to keep them, straight and be quiet and stuff at places. No, take it from them because all you gotta do is type in one word. You have no idea what's gonna pop up.
True.
And kids like to just press on things, so they don't know what they're actually typing. You put in, booger or whatever, and then here come a butt. You just don't know.
Listen, no, like I said, my son with the anime stuff. So, anime is sexy.
Yes.
So I'm looking. They hot. Skirts,
Boo.
boobs.
I'm about to say, they titties be jiggling everywhere.
I'm like,
on them
first of all,
anime.
he already got to deal with my big boobs.
Titties
Titties
everywhere.
everywhere. When I was like, Jace, he was like, I like girls. I said, I'm glad. I'm happy
Well,
for
all
you.
right.
I was like, I'm happy for you, but you can't be watching this at 5. I don't have time. That's
Tiggly,
what I told him. I said, I don't have time.
Tiggly jelly. Jiggly titties.
Jiggly titties
That he
all
just
day.
happy.
Just a smile.
Just a
Just
smile.
and
I was
like,
like, yeah.
yes.
So I was like, he knows behind him. All I saw was the
oh my goodness, I can't. How old is he?
boobs, 5. It was
Oh,
YouTube.
man.
Short skirts, like they bend over, they butt out. I'm like, yo. He was like, I'm so sorry. So you just gotta talk to your kids, be comfortable with your
Why
kids.
do they know how to?
They
But,
don't.
Find
you
this
gotta
stuff.
get them on
Don't
the
know how to-
kid YouTube
It's a
channel
ye-
and take them away from
Yeah.
just whatever the other YouTube channel is.
These kids are good with anything, a tablet, a phone, or anything.
I mean,
They are because
they come out the
technology.
womb.
they've been
the
a spirit
technology
for a long time.
is
We're
the
not
thing.
going there. Though.
They newborns just got delivered. They
Right.
got a Facebook Live already.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in.
Girl,
They
I
posted
mean,
Instagram.
It's the truth though. I mean,
Selfies
look,
1 hour old. Like this.
look at our celebrities. I mean, a lot of their kids have their own Instagram page, and
When a
His
dog
kids are
has, when
not
a
even-
dog Instagram numbers is better than mine, then I know.
no, hold on, my dog got an Instagram.
Oh no!
Oh,
But he doesn't
goodness.
have, my daughter made it, but he doesn't have an Instagram because he just this wonderful pup. He got an Instagram because he's a sick pup. And so she was trying to get some help.
Oh.
So that's why he has an Instagram.
Wait.
It's crazy.
Is it an 800 number?
Of course he's still sick.
You've been sick for a long time.
He's been sick since birth.
What's his name?
His name is Titan.
Oh,
A great time.
He's 3 pounds.
He only 3 pounds.
He a survivor.
Yeah, he ain't
He
gonna
prayed
get
over.
no bigger. Yeah, he's a survivor.
3 pounds for 8
what's
years.
wrong with
8
8 years? Is it been 8 years for real?
No, it's only going on 2 years. Not yet. I don't know if he gonna make it
What?
to
So
8.
he was born kind of sickly.
Aw.
Yes, he was born small, but the breeder did not tell us that he may have a condition, so
he
we
had a
didn't
birth
find
defect.
out until he died pretty much a month after we got him, and he was only like 2 months old.
Okay,
He went
so
into
we
a
can follow
coma.
Titan where?
On Instagram.
How? What's his name?
Girl, I don't know.
Oh.
She said,
So we'll be posting that from our Instagram.
Titan. Save Titan.
Yeah, Save Titan. I think that's the name of it. Save Titan. And he on there with his little pictures.
I didn't know, but I just figured that would be a good name.
Yeah, I think that's the name.
I would have
Save
sued.
Titan.
I would have sued that breeder. I'm sick of these breeders selling disabled animals.
Thank you.
You know what I
and
mean?
I said the
And
same thing.
I don't.
You can sue
People,
her.
yeah,
You can sue people. You know you can.
I
they definitely do.
Can they
Because
also have
he-
mental illness?
Yeah.
Yes, they can.
Yeah.
Braxton.
But you know what's crazy?
Braxton was
I
cool.
think it's.
Yeah.
I think it's. I watch these stories on these animals that where they, they send them to the vet to get put to sleep, and then the vets send them somewhere to be rehabilitated and things like that. And it's so sad. They put anything to sleep, but they got these little surviving animals with one leg that don't work or all these issues. And it's
Yeah.
so I be sitting there crying watching these stories. I'm a weirdo. I love
Like
animals.
3 a.m. The commercial.
No.
Girl, that's isn't that sad? It's so terrible. I don't know why they play that song with them dogs.
Please
It's always been a
give.
blizzard.
Please give. And then they just be sitting there shaking.
Shaking.
Right.
Cold.
Go, looking all crazy.
Snowball in one
Right.
eye. I'm like,
Yeah.
Not everywhere.
They be like, it's a visa. You ready? You get a little credit card
They
number.
were looking terrible. They had them dogs. They found the worst looking dog to put in them commercials.
oh God,
It's
don't even
so
talk
bad.
about that. Oh
No,
God, talk about back to
she
the
had
kids.
how many adopted? Do you know how many adopted African children
That-
Miss Nada has? She has a
For real?
she has a whole village.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You adopted these
Girl,
kids.
For years.
my husband, I was hiding it from him. And one day he saw one of the postcards.
That's your lottery? Your lottery is adopting kids off
For
life.
years. She don't know from like 19.
What is it called?
years old.
Children
Like,
you
you like
Huh?
she started
What's
young
it called?
doing that.
Children's.
Save our children.
Look,
Something like
she
that.
know-
Listen.
Don't say
anyway,
something like that. You know exactly.
I
what
got
it's
mad when they wouldn't send me the free gift they were supposed to send me, so
well,
that's where I
listen, y'all,
stopped.
Listen, yes. So I got busted. So I was hiding the cards and the postcards and updates from my husband. And
They sending you a picture of this.
Girl, yes.
Okay.
I got real attached. And so he
should've
saw
got her.
this. He said,
Just $20 a
so
month of your
he
pledge,
said,
and this
so
will
are
help
you
feed a
adopting
child."
kids in Africa?
Why you didn't tell me, T? I would have sent her some pictures of my kids.
That's what he said. He said, we got our own damn kids. They need to be adopted.
You up here adopting everybody else. Like, don't you see he needs some
For-
more diapers?
For years, I don't know. For
Wow.
years, she was.
I was
going,
secretly
She was
doing
going
this.
heavy, heavy. I'm like, so how? Going.
No.
So you got so you got a whole village out there.
Village.
You gonna take care of a lot
East-
of kids.
So your husband had to get you together.
He got me together, but I still, you know
East,
what?
West,
It took
and
me.
South
It took a minute.
Africa.
I lied. I said I stopped, but I didn't. It was like I had to gradually go up.
Cause she was attached to
I
him.
was
They were
wean.
like,
I had to wean off of
they
that.
were
So
from
she was,
five.
she was waiting on the pictures.
Then I went to St. Jude, and he still don't, he
Oh,
don't know
St.
about
Jude.
He don't know
St.
about
Jude.
St.
I don't
St.
So now
Jude
you
to
on
get
St.
you.
Jude?
So she
I was from St. Jude. I went from there to St. Jude. See, nobody knew. That's my. No one knew about this.
That's good.
I went to
though.
St. Jude.
When I hear St. Jude, it just when you be in the store, you know how you.
saving everybody. It's a whole world out here. You see a homeless man on the corner. Did you give him a quarter?
I do.
I understand St. Jude though.
I
I mean,
follow them. She be like, my spirit said. My spirit said.
Especially that little boy. Remember, I gave him some.
oh gosh.
We chase.
I chased this.
We seen. Listen.
Wait a minute. You're chasing the homeless?
Yes.
Well, it was a yellow. In my spirit.
We
My
picked-
spirit told me, help him.
How long ago was this?
Not
Last
too long
year.
ago. But anyway,
She followed them.
I do. This is on a regular. I do a lot of weird stuff. I don't call it weird. I call
Charitable.
it charitable things that people don't know about.
But sometimes
Okay.
when you can pick up
I do it in
energy-
secret.
Bless
I
your,
see.
So-
bless
You
your
do it
heart.
secretly.
I do it in
You-
secret.
Your husband said something to you, so you like,
I
need
gotta
to
hide it.
this.
I gotta hide my thing.
You don't know that I got 20
So
kids
the one,
in Africa.
so the young boy that she did help was actually go. You could see it on
I
his
saw
face.
I saw the despair
So-
in his face.
So when she talked to him, he was literally going through a lot. He had to take a walk.
He said, really needed this. I said, brother, here you go. Here's some money.
And she said, when I see him again, she always playing for the.
In my mind, I'm planning a graduation in college. If they need me for prom.
Have you seen him again?
No, but I do like for a while go that same route.
Just in case.
So you
Just in case.
so
to
you
get an
are
update.
a helper stalker is
To
what you
get an
are.
update on the situation, see if I need to
Yeah.
intervene again.
So you're pretty much a stalker.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So she liked to help people, but she stalked them after she left. This is an issue here.
That's weird, though. What
I
if they
think
wanted
you
to
need
stalk
see
you
that on
back?
a different level. You have my number. Call me, and we would sit down and talk about this
Call the
behavior.
counselor.
Because I feel
Because this is too
It was
much.
this one guy. He had the snottiest
Another
nose.
It's another one?
it's a
had the
lot of stories.
snottiest
Shut up,
nose.
T. You telling too much
It
stories.
was
for
just
this
really
video.
funny because I did laugh. Because I had to suck in all my energy. Because I wanted to laugh. He had a snotty nose.
And he needed help.
He needed help.
This
Who
is
was
your
there?
gambling problem?
You know what?
Saving
It's not
kids.
frequent.
It's not that frequent.
She
It's
got,
only
she
at
got to
need-
pick up energy.
It's an at needs
Nada,
basis.
you was adopting kids from Africa. Now you went on to St. Jude, and you picking up people on the street.
You know, I need to go back to St. Jude. I really like St. Jude because the parent, you know what? I love St. Jude
I
because
like the terms and conditions.
right, it's free. Parents don't have to pay for anything. So I thought that was a great cause. And it's all
It is.
it's
a
all
very great
through
cause.
charitable contribution. So to keep the train moving, I like to contribute.
There's nothing wrong with that. With your giving.
What?
Miss Nada, my brakes is squeaking.
Girl,
Can you?
shut up, y'all. I don't like talk about this stuff. I'm busted now.
But you
Yeah,
know
you
what?
are
I look at
very
her
much
different
busted.
now.
huh?
I look at her different now.
I
didn't
did
know.
a lot
I
of
didn't
weird
see
stuff.
all of
Remember
that.
one time? I remember we went to the shelter.
I mean, I knew she did. I knew she did
It-
a lot
it
of
makes
stuff for her
sense.
community, but I didn't see her as a
It makes
sucker.
a lot
Look,
of why she was spinning her wheels with some of those with the work that you were doing.
Oh, so now it makes sense to
now
you?
it makes sense to me. Because I couldn't understand it. Like, what is she doing?
Going
What?
all in?
Yes. And now I see. Okay, so the groceries make sense.
Okay, there we go.
All right.
You were grocery shopping.
Girl.
Don't want, no need no hacks about other stuff.
So what the baby need? She like, yeah, chicken nuggets, applesauce, hot dogs. Pockets of whatever.
Girl bought the whole Christmas wardrobe. Whatever.
Right.
Anyway, but so
She get that from her mom. That's it.
anyway,
Next time the topic is going to be Nada's giving.
I know.
you know what? It's nothing wrong with it. You know, it's at an at need basis.
The energy, the universe will always bless you for doing that. So you're all right.
I don't know about I've been still going through my thing, but
I mean, that's the universe as well. Gotta give you the bad with the good. Girl.
okay.
Right.
But anyway,
We should start crying.
you know,
Keep it
that's
in
what's
balance.
not making a
Keep it in
therapy
balance.
session right now. Anyway, y'all, so back to the subject. I don't know how we just went left, right, back and ground, you know, but we back here again. Child abuse.
Oh, my God.
Has anybody here experienced any sexual molestation that they want to share, or a close family member, or a story that they was involved in, or?
Yeah.
Everybody
Everybody been,
I didn't know I was molested, but I realized a few. I was like, damn, everybody was molested.
Yeah,
I
older
didn't-
cousin,
I
older
didn't
cousin
know.
following me.
Yeah.
I
Like,
did.
there's no
I
big
mean, I
deal.
did kiss a cousin.
Older, well, that's I'm talking about, yeah, older cousin fondling me. Yeah, definitely. I experienced that, you know. And then my older, you know, God rest his soul. When I told my brother this years later, and my older cousin was in jail at the time, and he was just as calm as you could be. But my older brother he wasn't no joke. Nah, you can't tell he's the type of person you can't tell him nothing if you don't want nothing to happen. That was my brother. If you tell him something gonna happen behind it. And so I was just talking. We were just talking, and it just came out. I'm in my 20s, And he's like, oh, for real? He was like, why we just talking. It was cool. He ain't say nothing. I mean, it was a cool conversation. Years later, we out with my cousin. My cousin got out of jail. Literally, I think he just got out of jail. We all out. And later on that night, the next day, I get a phone call. Yeah, your brother put your cousin in the hospital. Broke every bone in that man's body.
Oh,
Literally.
wow.
Literally. And I already knew why. It was just one, because I looked at him, because my cousin said something to me that night, and my brother just looked at me. And I just shook my head, and that was it. It was little. We didn't have no words about nothing, about the whole situation, but he just looked at me like, I got you. Like, that looked like I got you. And that next day, my cousin was literally every bone broke.
Did you have to explain
No.
to everybody, or did they just feel like your
No,
brothers?
because basically they got into an argument, and of course my brother took it. He already had an issue with him anyway. He had some business to deal with him anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was like, it made sense because of my brother was a big dude. Why would you step to him anyway? You know what I mean? So
do you have any advice for anybody like dealing with, like, how do you, I guess, move on past stuff? Because a lot of people go they go crazy. They lash out.
I know. And one thing about it, you do lash out in different areas in your life. You can be promiscuous. You can kind of just be to yourself, or you can start wearing like baggy clothes.
You don't want to be desirable.
You don't want. You wear baggy clothes. You don't want nobody even look at you. It's different things that you go through. But the thing about it is talk to people. But growing up, I didn't talk to nobody. You know what I mean? And I just kind of like dealt with it. You know what I mean? I dealt with it, and I just moved on. And I was just like, okay, this is a situation that happened. It was messed up. Maybe I'm kind of a weird person that way.
That's just who you are.
I kind of filtered through the mess in a way, and was like, you know what? I kind of filtered through it and was like, okay, I'm going to just go and move past it. And that's what I did, but unfortunately, some people do go to drugs. Some people are promiscuous, unfortunately. Some kids start molesting other kids, and I've seen that, and it's like, it's what I do recommend is basically you got to tell somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
The first thing you just got to tell, if you don't feel comfortable telling your parents, go to your school, trust and believe, they don't play. Nowadays, it's like, this is the time and era to talk. Because back in the day, even probably back then, they probably would have brushed something under the rug, I think. You didn't hear stories, even though you knew it was going on. Like, I remember one time, I was in elementary, and it was a young girl. She got sent home. She wore netted, lace, see-through pants, no panties on. This was vivid because it shocked me. Like, whoa, she wore that to school. So you knew this girl was getting molested. You know what I mean? You knew, why is she that sexual at 12? Uh-huh. You know what I mean? And she was living with her grandmother. Pretty girl, too. And she had a shape. I remember that. It was just, because I never forget that. That shocked me. I'm like, wow, why is she, I would never, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't, literally. I couldn't walk out the house like that.
Why was all the wild kids living with their grandmothers?
Because the parents are often drugs. The parents aren't capable of keeping, or they lost their custody.
They lost custody. A lot of them are
They
locked up in prison.
They lost custody because of molestation
and some of
drugs.
it was death, so it was so many different situations that kids end up with their grandparents. But as Nada was saying, we don't talk about it, and especially, and it's also too depends on the severity of the molestation. Sometimes when there's a cousin that's a few years older than you, you don't take that so much as it being your father or your uncle.
It's different.
Because it's different, and then it's touching with the hand. But when someone actually takes your
sexual
innocent
penetration,
and they penetrate you, and then they have you doing sexual things to them, that's when you have more of the issues where people don't get over.
Right.
Because it's like,
and I think that's a key point. I think that's a key point.
Yeah.
The severity of the case. I know what's going on with me today. I'm sorry, y'all. The case that plays a big part because of my situation wasn't that.
It
could,
doesn't take away from.
But it could
from
have
the
well been. I was
pain.
about to say it could have
It
well
could have
been
went farther.
Went farther.
Yeah.
You know, this could have
most
been.
definitely.
It could have easily went that way quick.
The
Yes.
scariest story I ever heard of molestation was an older brother making his younger brother perform oral sex on him.
Yeah.
And it was going on for a good little minute, and it totally had to do with jealousy and
And it happened
whatever.
to him
yeah.
too, though. So
And
he
was
did it to
just-
somebody too.
It was terrible, and it was
Yeah.
just like possibly like kind of like a toddler making an older brother making a toddler do that, and it was because he hated his little brother, and it's just so many weird things going on, and I just wish that schools. I mean, I don't know whose job or where it can start at, but I just feel like it's stuff going on
It's a
inside
lot.
of homes,
A lot that nobody
and I
talk
feel
about.
like in school it should be mandatory a little bit for a psychiatrist or somebody to pull this out little by little, just little sessions with kids maybe or
What they do,
anything.
but
the
thing
teachers
is,
are supposed to be
sometimes
trained to kind
they
of
have
see
the school
signs.
counselors there, but what happens is that you can begin to talk to a child, but as I was saying earlier, if a child don't have trust in you, that when they give you this information that you're going to help them, they're not going to give you the information. You can ask them, you can bring them down, but if they do not trust you, you are not going to get anywhere with them. It's not until you develop that rapport with them and they know that this is a safe place to talk.
Yeah.
So, you know, the stories that I've heard from girls and as well as from little boys being molested and different things that happen, and how I even brought the parents in on some of the conversation because I needed them to be aware of it. And then for the child to be able to release that you knew and you keep saying that you did not know when you did know. I told you about this. And so mom had to own that, you know, and still say, well, and then it got into the fact that, well, I was molested too, you know, so then it was able to kind of break things down. Like she ignored it because it was swept under the rug for her, so she did the same thing for you.
Right.
And so not knowing that this person was still living in this situation. A lot of times, even with girls and even with boys, you'll find them too. We were talking about some of the signs you look at. Sometimes when girls and well as guys, when they start to gain way too much weight and they're constantly set off in their room and they're constantly eating and eating and eating, and that seems to be their only friend is their food. And because we wear on us how we feel. And so a lot of times if we're feeling some type of way, it's going to, and I tell people all the time, your mess is going to show up one way or the other.
It gotta
Either it's
come
going to
out.
show up in your body, it's going to show up in how you take care of yourself, it's going to show up in how you take care of your house.
I wasn't molested, but food was my friend.
Okay.
Pain is going to show up. Pain does not sit because pain got to have a place to go.
Pain is pain. I don't care how it comes.
I don't care how it comes. I mean, some people just love food. They don't have to be molested because they love food. Some people just love it. And it's fine because I love food too. But wait a minute. Hold on. Go back. But that don't have nothing to do with it. But some kids, they get into a place and they do. They wear
Food
their heaviness
don't
on
let
down.
you down.
Food don't.
It don't.
It be
It's
there.
it's
Yes, it can.
there.
It's nasty. It's
can't
like
let
I
you
cooked it
down.
wrong.
I remember food being there for me. It was you wake up and you be like, "Good morning. What are we eating today?" You know what I mean? Like it would be.
Like, yeah,
You ain't
gotta-
arguing with food.
You got something. That's because it was other issues, and so food was an easier way for you for something you can control.
I know.
You control it. That's what it was.
You order it and it make you feel good.
Yeah, that was all it was.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, I like I say, listen, y'all, you like Yvette said, parents, you know when something ain't right. You know when you had that gut feeling like, that don't feel right. It ain't right. Don't second guess yourself. Don't try to second guess the situation. If something, like I said, if it look like a duck, act like a duck, then it's a duck. At the end of the day, even if you may be wrong, it's okay because you're protecting your child. Question everything. If you feel it ain't right in your spirit, it ain't right. Question literally everything if you don't see it. If it don't feel right, it ain't right. That's how I feel. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. Oh, well. But at least you know you dotted the I's and crossed the T's. You know that you protected your child. And, and for those parents, don't feel like, you failed as a parent because things happen. Unfortunately, you can't watch your child 24/7. Unfortunately, you can't. Sometimes people are those chameleons that can blend in, and you can't really judge who they are because they show you themselves in
Chameleons?
one way. What are they?
Chameleons. I thought you said communion.
Oh, chameleons. I said chameleon, did I?
That was probably what
Oh,
I
okay,
heard.
good. I was about to say, I know I ain't messed that one up. I've been messing
That's
up
what I
all
think it
night,
was
but I ain't
me.
messed that one up. But, you know, so just protect your child. And again, don't feel guilty. Don't feel you're going to go to jail, because if you didn't do the crime, you're not going to get in trouble for this. You know, and don't feel like you got to protect the abuser, because at the end of the day, you have to protect your child. And I think that's what a lot of women do. They feel like they got to protect everybody. And okay, you want to make sure your kid okay, but you don't want him to go to jail because of this happened. And then if he tell you some sob story of him getting abused, okay, that's fine, but you're not about to abuse this one.
Right.
And I'm not going to have you abuse anyone else, because what happens, even if you leave that relationship and don't tell nobody, he's going to go on and abuse other kids.
That's right.
So you have to stop it. When you notice it, stop it. Because what's going to happen is going to continue on. And so even if you don't know where to turn to, you can go to your local DHS office, Detroit Department of Human Services office, and they could definitely direct you in the right direction of child abuse. So go to your local Department of Human Services, and they could, if you don't know, call the or the police station. Well, go to police 911, honestly, because it's definitely an emergency. You have to get this nip in the bud.
Call the hotline. Speak up.
Yeah, and a hotline, and it's the hotline is called 1-800-4-A-CHILD, 1-800-4-A-CHILD, and it's 1-800-422-4453. We'll put that up on our social media so you can see it, but you definitely need to tell somebody. Even if you hear a friend talking about how they may think that they may be or something that don't seem right, and I've heard stories of that where he always want to take her out, and then when she come back, she look unraveled. I've heard of that.
And don't let your daughter sit on every man's lap. At a certain age, you do not need to be on these men's lap. Why you talking about
ain't no certain age. Never. You ain't sit on nobody's lap.
Said never.
Don't sit on lap. No, you don't sit on nobody's lap. So again, y'all, so if you have any stories or if you need us to help you along the way, we're willing to help. We have professionals. Sometimes we don't sound professional sometimes. But, we are professional. We can assist you. You can always connect with us on Instagram and Facebook at TalkJuicyDetroit, and on Twitter at TalkJuicy313. But if you have any personal issues you want to connect with us, you can always reach us on our Gmail at TalkJuicyDetroit@gmail.com. Okay, everyone. So until next time, always keep it juicy.
Toodles.
Goodbye.